Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet Renita Joyce Smith. She is an executive coach, and she's on a mission. She wants to help make work suck less. She'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, if you talk to many CEOs, they'll tell you that their company is a revolving door. They are recruiting, training, hiring, and then just when the employee gets to the point where they really know what they're doing, the employee says, I'm out of here. So how do you make work suck less? Well, you turn to my next guest. Renita Joyce Smith is in the studio. She's the CEO and founder of Leap Forward Coaching and Consulting. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
All right, let's start with the obvious. How do you make work suck less?
Listen, we spend 40, 50, 60 hours of our real lives a week at work. And this is also the place where we have the biggest tensions in relationships. We have our inner critic that's screaming, our self-esteem is challenged, are we doing a good job, are we doing a bad job? And so much stress is generated out of the workplace. And so if we can get back to, hey, let's work on your mindset. Let's work on communication. Let's work on your relationship skills. How can we make the experience of being within these spaces be more harmonizing, and so we can feel more connected where it's not such a drain literally on our lives?
Much more from Renita in a second. We found a great video. Let's go ahead and roll that.
I'm Renita Joyce Smith. I'm the founder and executive and authenticity coach for Leap Forward Coaching and Consulting. I support people between their leap and their land. So usually they have a vision of who they want to be in life. Mainly corporate professionals, people in the nonprofit sector, senior leaders, and they kind of hit that pivot point of, I know there's more, but I'm scared, I'm terrified, I'm trying to figure out who I want to be. I just need support in being able to unfold and evolve, and so I get the privilege of being able to support people in their journey to unfold and find who they are. So my practice tends to go into 3 pillars. I call it the 3 selves. So 1, self-awareness. If you can be aware of who you are, what you're thinking about, what's in your head, what's in your backpack of belief systems. Not being delusional about, well, that's not me. Well, it probably is you, but that's where that awareness comes in, that emotional intelligence. So that's step number 1 in self-awareness. That will then lead us to step number 2 of self-regulation. If you're aware with what you're dealing with, then you know how to regulate it. So if you know what is activating you or your triggers, when it pops up and you get that emotion, it's like, oh, I see you, emotion. You're able to regulate it and manage it, whether it's through mindfulness, breath work, through different tools and techniques to be able to kind of really manage yourself in a whole different way. So when you have the awareness, the regulation, then comes the self-management. You can be proactive about the choices that you then get to make. I think sometimes we forget that we're always at choice. Whether you choose to do something or not, how you react, you are at choice, and you have the power to create what you want to happen in any given moment by having the awareness, regulating, and being able to manage yourself. So if anything, all this ladders up to, how can you be a creator in your own life? So if you are either in a corporate space, a nonprofit space, still leading and also wanting to do more, reach out to me. I would love to be able to have the opportunity to support you in your journey of being able to unfold, and not in a cookie cutter way, but in a way that is authentic to you. If this sounds like it calls to you, if there is a leap that is in your life and you're looking for support in the land, reach out to me. I'd be happy to serve.
So powerful. You were telling me before the show about one of your favorite success stories.
Yes, I had a client who, she was a older lady, lovely, and she was a program manager, and she had a team of about 15 people, very high stress, and trying to figure out, how do I keep all this together? We have 15 products on our plate. And over the course of us working together, it really became not necessarily how do you manage this work, but how do you manage yourself to be able to regulate your own stress, to understand what is yours to do versus what is your team's to do, and then to also be able to kind of have your own set of criteria for, is this really a fire right now?
Yes.
Or is this just run of the day and I can regulate and manage through it? So about 3 months in, she says, Renita, I got some news for you. I said, what is it? She said, I went to the doctor. And my high blood pressure medicine, he cut it in half. Wow. Because my stress went down so much. And said, even so much so that I sit on the back porch in the evenings, and my husband came out and he was like, are you mad at me? You're just so quiet and calm. Did I do something wrong? She's like, nope, I'm just regulating. You done taught me how to regulate. So like, this is where coaching can have those real life applications. Yes, you might get a promotion. Yes, you may be able to do all these great things for career and success.
Yes.
But what's happening at home with how you're actually experiencing life? And that's what gives me like the most joy out of this work.
Well, we have 4 generations in the workplace right now.
Yes.
And often Gen Zs are getting promoted to manager without ever reading a management book, without getting any coaching at all. And often they're coaching people or leading a team of people who could be their parents' age, which is a challenge.
Yes. So there's a lot of, we have 4 generations in the workplace right now, which we haven't had in many a moon. And so what you have right now is kind of a beautiful collision of cultures, but also a collision in cultures yet and still. Because the beauty about Gen Z is they watched us grow up, so struggle with burnout, with stress, and not being fulfilled in our jobs. And so often they're bringing to their leadership style and management, how can we do this better? There has to be a better way. But then that's rubbing up against my elder millennial generation and our Gen X and our boomers who are like, wait a minute, we'd had it this way for a reason. You're trying to take change too fast. But I think there's a really beautiful opportunity here for everyone to kind of enhance that communication and figure out, what can I learn from the other person? What are they bringing from the table? Because they have insights that I don't know about, and then vice versa. So let's kind of co-create this culture together, regardless of age, and be able to have a level of respect there versus discounting, oh, well, because you're young, or oh, well, because you're old. But let me really get curious about your approach and your viewpoint in life.
Yes. We're going to pull up her website. And as we scroll on the website, talk about, you're a very popular keynote speaker. What kinds of audiences do you like to speak to?
So anyone that will laugh at my jokes, first of all, just kidding. But a lot of most of my audience are comprised of either women, but also industry. So coming from a background in Big Four and tech, I love speaking to tech audiences, engineers. A lot of speakers run away from like, oh no, those are dry. I love technology audiences. And so when usually people are bringing me in, they want something that's different. And so, yes, give us some motivation, but let my people walk away with some actionable tactics. What can I apply on Tuesday when I get back to the office after I leave here feeling good?
Yes.
So a lot of my speaking revolves around authenticity, curiosity, leadership, how to move yourself forward, and then also the future of work too, because we're in this AI age right now. And yes, you can go learn all the skills in Claude and Copilot, which I love. But at the same time, how is your mindset adjusting to using AI? How is that confronting how you feel about yourself, your value, your identity, your communication style?
Yes.
Because if you can't communicate with the person and delegate, you can't communicate with the AI. So all those little topics in there and how we are really understanding how we're engaging in the world is what I love to speak about.
And I think many companies have done a poor job implementing AI in the workplace. So there's all this, fear of, is AI going to take my job? Right. And it can be a powerful tool if the employee knows how to use it.
Absolutely. I think AI is one of those things that where if you leverage it, it can create more opportunity to free you up to do higher value tasks and projects and thinking. But if companies are seeing this as a Band-Aid to say, well, I can get rid of all this workforce, that is the wrong approach versus saying, how can this enhance my workforce? How can we get our human capital to partner with this technology to advance us forward versus let me just get rid of half of my workforce?
So if you were to advise a young person in college, would you tell them you definitely need to learn AI and be on the cutting edge of AI? Because it changes. Like every single month, there's a new,
Yes.
incarnation of AI.
Yes, and there's a new. I'm always refreshing my Claude, or there's something updated. What I would tell, and everyone has kind of a different life lens right now with AI. There are some people that are very much in the environmental sense that are like, I don't want to learn it because the impacts it has on our environments, or people that are very AI forward. One thing I would say is that choose a lane here, but know why you're choosing it, and kind of knowing, in addition to that, what comes with the choice that you made. But let's say someone is very AI forward, understanding what the technology is, but also understanding the critical thinking skills with how to use it. That's what we're missing in this conversation. And so I would heavily advise folks to make sure you're paying attention to enhancing the way that you critically approach problem solving.
Yes.
And using AI as a tool, not as a replacement for your thinking. And then most of all, being able to enhance your curiosity. We have lost this sense of wonder and curiosity in the world. And so being able to say, hey, is there a better way to do this? I wonder what would happen if.
Yes.
Then utilizing these tools to create new solutions.
And I know you do a lot of coaching of C-suite and CEOs. Let's talk about understanding what your strengths are, because so many CEOs, they're not good at running a company. They might be the visionary, they might be a brilliant technologist, but they're not good at managing people.
Yes. So I get this a lot. I have C-suite, they're like, hey, I'm good at what I do, technically proficient. People, I can take it or leave it. Now, when we coach around strengths, I leverage Clifton strengths and core clarity as part of my practice. A lot of times, these leaders might not have strengths that are dominant within the relationship building space. What I encourage them to do is, how can you now leverage some of your other strengths and utilize those in ways to create relationship and help you manage your people? And conversely, also understanding where your blind spots are, or if you're a very analytical person, but your team is filled with people that have like harmony and relator, you may have to be extra intentional about creating those moments of connection. And also telling people how you like to be communicated with. Talk to me via numbers. I'm a numbers person, but we're not sharing those details about ourselves. And that's typically where people say, I don't like to be a people manager, because we're not talking the same language or really communicating what our needs are and listening to the other people's needs as well.
And nobody wants to work for an anxious boss. If the boss is in if the boss is in the wrong seat on the bus, everybody knows it.
Yes, I think it's also one of those pieces where we're all anxious. Like, we're riddled with anxiety nowadays. But I think people want to work for a vulnerable boss. Someone to say, I'm nervous about this thing that's coming up. Let's all work together to figure out how we can change it or how we can solve it, versus pretending to be calm and gaslighting everyone.
Yes.
Of, oh, everything's fine, everything's fine. Everyone's like, we're not feeling fine. That creates a sense of distrust that I see a lot as well. So I think being able to be anxious, but be aware that you are, and that you're regulating through it, and creating those moments of vulnerability, that's saying, I'm not a perfect leader. And people gravitate towards that.
All right, Renita, we have about 2 minutes left, so look into the camera on the left and talk to that CEO who might need to bring you in.
Awesome. So if you are experiencing, you know what, I think there is a better way for me to be leading and for my people to experience this company differently, give me a call. Because right now we are facing so many changes culturally versus within the workplace, within our country, and so many pressures are happening. There needs to be a level of support right now, more than any other time in the past. And so to look for support can look like, how do I reimagine my mindset? How do I reimagine the culture? How do I create a net new experience for my team and the way they're engaging with this work? I have services that support all of that, whether it's one-on-one individual coaching with you as a leader, or even with your team of leaders and managers, because it's one thing to have one person do coaching, but to take a whole team or leadership team and everyone's experiencing the same type of coaching and learning, that's when change becomes exponential, and that we've seen fantastic success with. So best way to get started is to just reach out for a discovery call. Let's see what's happening in your world and how we can support you between the sleep and your next land.
Outstanding. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. We're going to end with her website, which again is leapforwardco.com. The great Renita Joyce Smith. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.